waiting for some videos to upload for you guys. And while I'm doing that, I figured I might just ask you guys something. What do you do to get out of ruts? Like when you're in a training rut, sit down on our couch. You guys are like pretty much sitting on the couch with me. All right. Sorry guys, I had a little laugh. So what do you do to get out of training ruts? Because like for me personally, like I've always, I mean, when you think of jiu-jitsu is kind of like a relationship, right? Like you get into it and you're like, oh man, this is amazing. I love this thing so much. Just like you do with a new person, right? You meet this new person and all you want to do is spend more and more time with them. Can't get enough of them. And then eventually, you know, things become normal, right? Like you enjoy the person's company, you probably still love them, but you know, you can do with some time away from them sometimes. And jiu-jitsu is kind of the same way. Like for me, I've been doing it for, you know, God, I'm so old. 14 years now, right? Like I've been wrestling and stuff before then. And so like for me, it's been like the only real sport that I've ever really dumped myself into for this long of a period, or this period of time. And I still love it. Like I still can't get enough of it, but I sometimes can use a little time away from it, and I'm all right to do so. And when it comes down to that sort of normal period, right? You'll have these periods where it's like your enthusiasm sort of waxes and wanes, right? Sometimes like for some reason you're motivated, and sometimes you're like, "Oh, I'm here at the gym, but I'm like I'm just kind of going through the motions." And so what do you guys do to sort of get through those like those sticky points, right? For me, there's always been like three things that have always been able to kind of go back to that always sort of like shake me out of my funk. The first one, which is what's happening right now, because recently I was helping some friends with their jiu-jitsu related businesses. I was getting ready for, we have an instructor's course coming up here at the gym that I was getting ready for, and I have a bunch of like other stuff that I want to do with the coaches, so I had to get some dates and some venues and stuff like that locked in. And then also we have just a bunch of random stuff coming up all the time, right? And so with all this stuff coming up, my enthusiasm to train was just not where it is normally, right? I wasn't getting after it. I'm always training, I'm always in good shape, but it wasn't like it usually is, right? And then I got on the Fight to Win show. So now I have an event coming up. I have a competition coming up. And whenever I have a competition coming up, my body, like, it doesn't matter like what I'm doing. It's like mentally, boom. It's like the switch flips, because now I know I'm getting ready for a conflict. I'm getting ready for something where I'm going to have this other person coming at me, and I've got to be ready for it. Like, and in that mindset, it doesn't matter if I'm like tired, because then I think about, well, that dude's training, he's getting ready. Why aren't you? And so whenever I have a competition coming up, that instantly just the switch flips. Jeez, can't say that word today. And then another thing that I've always kind of been able to do whenever like I'm trying to sort of, you know, shake out of that funk is to focus on some different stuff. You know, I know this is pretty simple, but here's what happens a lot of times. People will focus on new stuff for like a day, right? They don't really give it a fair shake. Like I have a little journal that I keep, and I'll write in my journal, and I'm like, all right, this is my move for like this month, right? It'll be arm bars, leg locks, whatever I decide to go upon, right? And a lot of times I choose stuff that I'm not very good with. Like for instance, last year I was in the gym, and for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I was never able to get a flower sweep. I don't know why. Like it's a good sweep. When I say flower sweep, I'm talking about the one, not the pendulum where you swing out, but just where you put your foot down and you sort of hit them over to the side, right? And I've never been able to hit that sweep. I don't know why. I just never could find it. And then like I was like, all right, I'm gonna focus on just this sweep in my full guard for, you know, just like until it hits, you know, because I know that eventually my body will figure it out. And sure enough, it took about a month. But then all of a sudden, boom, 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 I'm hitting people with flower sweeps, like good dudes, like brown belts and black belts with flower sweeps when I'm training. And it's because I figured out the timing and how to make it work for myself. And again, that was fun, right? And so that because I did that, right, because now I had something to really focus on, especially it's outside of my sort of realm of expertise, it pushed me and helped me shake up things a little bit. So I went from just playing my normal game where I'm comfortable and all that stuff to playing something I'm not very good with and forcing myself to sort of grow in that area. And it's not to say I'm not good with a full guard, it's just that particular sweep I was not good with, especially when I was going against people that are a similar skill level. And then the last one, and this is sort of just a mental thing, is, you know, I think about what it's like when I was injured, what it's like when I was not able to train, and sort of put myself into the mindset that I was in like then, or put myself into the shoes of that person that I used to be, like that those points, right? Like literally 2 years ago, almost, because it's almost my birthday. Birthday's March 13th, and literally 2 years ago, I tore my meniscus cartilage, and I'm sitting on the shelf. And I remember like sitting here, like in this area in the gym, watching on the TV, watching the pans, right, and just like laying there with my leg all locked up, and it was terrible, right? And I remember that. And then I remember coming in because I started to get some like it started to feel a little bit better. And I came in on a Friday, and I remember training, and it was like, man, I remember how good it felt to be back on the mats. And then come back next Monday, and then the whatever was going on got worse with the meniscus, and then it was like, no, I got to go have surgery. And so I know, like, I've been there multiple times, so I know what it's like not to be able to train, and I can remember that vividly. And so whenever I'm like being down in a funk, and I'm here in the gym, and I'm like, feeling a little sluggish, I'll go back and be like, remember what it was like not to be able to train? Remember how bad that sucked? Cool. Well, stop it, because you should be appreciative of the fact that you can get in here and train, and that we can have a good time. You can see your friends. You're healthy enough to train, and like things are good enough that this is happening, right? So those are like three little things that I kind of go back to. I've always gone back to those in some way, shape, or form. Even when I was like a blue belt or a purple belt, I would remember back when I couldn't train, right? I've always used that little mental tool. It's more of just a mental game with myself, where I kind of like have inner dialogue going on. But again, if you guys are in a situation where you're in a funk, maybe schedule a competition for yourself. Like go ahead and get online and like pay for the registration fee. This way you're locked in and you are definitely going. Or again, if you're online, find a new move, find a technique, and don't forget about it. Don't like just let it go. Like say, this is my move for this month. I'm gonna focus on just this thing for this month and see how it goes, and really push yourself to get better. And likewise, if you're just in one of those days, man, you're having a funk, just remind yourself of how freaking lucky you are to be able to sit out here on the mats and train with your buddies and do this really cool martial art that we have available to us. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed sitting on the couch with me. I'll talk to you guys next time.